We are fully integrated. We have presence from upstream all the way down to downstream. And in this case, in upstream, from the production of seed all the way into oil palm nurseries and estate management. In particular, we are also looking at, we have our presence in mills and all that. And also, in downstream, we are focusing on having bulk refineries and specialty refineries, and also food and non-food. Okay, so our presence across the value chain is very critical for us because it helps us diversify away some of our commodity price risk and also helps us to leverage on some of the operational synergies that we have. Yeah. So our presence here, as you can see, we do have presence mostly, more than 95% of our business is actually on oil palm, and the rest is mostly concentrated, some in rubber, cattle, and sugar. Cattle and sugar mostly in Papua New Guinea, and rubber we have about 10,000 hectares, 10 to 20,000 hectares in Malaysia. Okay, so but bulk of the strategies, bulk of the business is actually still in oil palm. Okay. Downstream operations, I will leave that to Haris, who will be talking more on SD oils towards the end of this presentation. So what I do want to focus a bit more is on sustainability. We talk a lot about why we need to be sustainable. And the key point here is that whatever we do on sustainability is to ensure that we create value for the company and how we do that. Yeah, sustainability underpins almost everything, as I said just now, for what we do from upstream all the way to downstream products. Yeah, and we do realize that customers are always changing. Our customers continue to evolve. Yeah, and they are evolving in response to the public, their own customers. Our customers, the FMCGs like Unilever's, Nestle and Kraft's, are also responding to their own customers' demands on sustainability. Okay? So we do realize that while we have a very strong pedigree in terms of sustainability, we do need to continue to evolve and take a leadership position in our sustainability credentials. Yeah? At present, we have 97% of our estates, of our operations are RSPO certified, 100% certified in Malaysia, 100% in PNG in Solomon Islands, and about 96% in Indonesia. MSPO, we're 100% certified, about 96% again in Indonesia. And in the last 2 years, we've come up with four key commitments, yeah, and 3 different charters. One commitment is on our commitment to high carbon stock involvement commitments, and then responsible agriculture charters, human rights charter, and most recently the innovation and productivity charters. Yeah, and these charters underpins that commitment because it not only positions ourselves as a leader in the sustainability world, the production of certified sustainable palm oil, but also shows our commitment against in ensuring that we continue to produce palm oil in the most sustainable manner, and it underpins some of our strategies, especially on the upstream and downstream, upstream afterwards. Yeah, the innovation and productivity charter, for example, outlines how innovation is going to help us achieve the higher productivity that we need, such that we do not need to expand our land bank in such an aggressive manner that we did in the past. Yeah, so that particular pillar of the strategy is no longer a key element for us. So if you look at sustainable, the sustainability, how things have evolved, yeah, with our customers, yeah, supply chain sustainability has become a key concern for all our customers. Yeah? In 2016, we launched Open Palm. It allows our customers to track where their products are from all the way to the refineries and the plantation. Yeah? And our current global supply chain is currently about 97% traceable to the mill. And this is absolutely critical because it provides our customers, our SD Oils customers, the comfort and the security that their products are sustainable. And as a result of that, they are able to make that commitment to their own customers. And you've seen when things do go wrong with the sustainability certifications, in the case of some of our competitors over the past 2 or 3 years, it will affect shareholder value, it will affect your share price. So this is a particular commitment that we focus on very, very critically. And the reason why we put so much effort on the sustainability, supply chain traceability and all that is because it helps us provide that security to the customers, to our customers, in terms of identifying and managing the risk throughout our supply chain, proactively understanding where our supply chain is affected, and also to effectively respond to any grievances that they may have regarding our supply chain. Yeah, so that's continuous engagement that's happening with our customers. Okay. So these are some of the things that we are doing, not just within our company, but also extending beyond our company, working with the smallholders, which are also supplying into our supply chain. So that's one of the key areas that they're looking at, that we are working with our customers more closely in terms of giving them that security that our supply chain continue to be sustainable. Okay, I'm going to touch a bit about strategy. Okay, over the past 3-4 years, we launched our blueprint, and critically, as you can see here, sustainability is one of the key underpinning factors in our strategy. In terms of growth strategy, we have not changed the directions on both upstream and downstream. Our vision remains to be the leading integrated global palm oil player. In upstream, the focus has and continues to be driving operational excellence. Okay, as a result of that, we have deprioritized slightly the growth in terms of land bank expansion. We've got, as I said, we've got 1 million hectares, 600,000 planted. So the idea now is to sweat the assets much more than we have done in the past. Yeah, and the target by 2023 is to get about 23 metric ton in terms of yield per hectare and 23% in terms of OER. Okay, downstream is all about meeting the evolving needs of our customers of the future. Yeah, and if that means we have to strengthen our sustainability, so be it. If that means we have to strengthen our range of products and branding, then this is what Haris will be talking about in a few minutes. Yeah, one of the key things, key pillars of downstream strategy in the past has always been that we wanted downstream to play a bigger role in terms of profit contribution. We have targeted here about 20% of the total PBIT, of the group's PBIT, to come from downstream over the next 5 years. We are rethinking some of these targets as we go along. And then finally, how we integrate our upstream and downstream together, yeah? Maximizing the returns across the palm oil value chain. Okay? There's a lot of internal efficiencies that we can continue to improve in terms of logistics, in terms of where we source our products, so and in terms of how upstream, the quality of the products that upstream supplies to downstream, and how downstream creates value out of those products, are things that we continue to focus on. Okay? At the end of the day, all these strategies needs to be, okay, so in the medium to long-term targets, as I mentioned earlier, by 2023, we're targeting about 23.5 metric tons in terms of FAB yield, 23% in terms of OER, and a cost reduction of about 15% cost to customer, and 15 to 20% downstream contribution. Okay? At the end of the day, all these strategies comes with their own initiatives and sub-initiatives. There has to be a systematic tracking and monitoring of all these strategies, and as a result of that, we have set up a transformation office in Darby Plantation over the past 2 years, and essentially to drive performance. We call it the Rise to Apex program. Rise stands for Results, Innovation, Sustainability and Energy, and Apex means Accelerating Performance Excellence. How we deliver results, and also how we sustain that result. On the sustaining part, we are looking at ensuring that the transformation also occurs in terms of the culture and how we work. Yeah. So the transformation office ensures the tracking and monitoring and the execution of all these strategies. Yeah. We have 7 key work streams, and the key point in any of our assessment of each of these strategic initiatives that we do is whether it creates value or does not create value. Okay? So One thing I want to talk about is on innovation, how we've conducted that in Darby Plantation, and our commitment to continue to improve our yield performance, for example. One of the key strategies in improving yield performance is our replanting. About 4 or 5 years ago, we embarked on a strategy of more aggressive replanting. We started out in Indonesia for a couple of years at 7%, Malaysia about 5%. That has slowed down currently because we've done most of the major replanting in these two countries. We are now at about 4 to 5%. And when you replant, there are 3 key things that we can do to enhance our yields. One, you're replanting with superior planting material. Our genome material, I'll show you some pictures of our genome material afterwards, and dummy material from PNG. Okay? These hopefully will give us about 15 to 20% additional yield compared to the current best-in-class seeds that we have right now. We are also doing more effective water management. So when you replant, you have an opportunity that comes to you every 20, 25 years to redesign the estates, to redraw some of the more efficient conservation practices or water conservation practices, and also even basic estate designs. Some of our estates that we bought over Indonesia has not had that opportunity because we bought it from other people in the early 2000s. So this is an opportunity for us to put in our best practices in the estates. And then finally, to enhance via automation and digitization some of these technologies. And I'll touch on this a bit more afterwards. And Tuan Helmi will also be able to touch on this also. Upstream, this is a picture of our genome planting in a Diamond Jubilee estate. Okay, so next week we are actually having our first harvest of the genome planting. So it has been commercialized, although we do not have enough seeds for all of our replanting at the moment. We hope by 2022 we'll have enough seeds for all of our replanting to be done using genome material. Okay, so that is one innovation that's already been in place. Water management initiatives, I think you can go through some of the slides later on. These are done. It's particularly crucial as we are now entering, I'm sure there are questions on weather and on El Nino and all that afterwards. So this is a critical test for us. We have got about 15,000 hectares already irrigated in key areas. And this is an area that we've put in a lot of focus over the last couple of years. Okay, and finally, on digitalization and innovation. Innovation comes not just in some of the fancy stuff that you see, but also some on the more basic processes, mechanizing, reducing manpower, how we can reduce costs through a very simple process innovations. But in some of these cases, we are also adopting some of the more digitally led initiatives for value creation. One simple example that we've been talking to those who have had a chance to meet with us one-to-one is using drones for tree counting. That's the very simple example. That means that you are able to reduce costs because you know exactly how many trees you have, and you can reduce the amount of fertilizer that you purchase. Yeah. So there are projects going on to go on for the next steps in terms of this innovation. Okay. So one final slide before I hand over to Renaka is on operational efficiencies. So these are the things that we have achieved over the last 2 or 3 years. Bear in mind what we do here when we do irrigation, when we do yield improvements initiatives. This is a plantation. It takes anything between 12 to 24 months before you start seeing some of this impact. Yeah. So some of this on replanting, as you can see, we started genome planting about 2 years ago. We are harvesting it right now. Water management, 15,000 hectares irrigated, and we hope to see some of this, study some of the impact if this weather continues. And crop quality improvements, how we evacuate. A lot of the changes that we've done is in terms of the work methods that we do. Okay, cost management. We're targeting cost to customer. We have already managed to reduce it by 3% year on year. Okay, looking at labor rationalization. As a result of mechanization and improvements in productivity and efficiency, we're able to target some manpower reduction, and also, as I talked already about, fertilizer cost reduction. Downstream, with rebranding of SD oils. Haris will will talk a bit more about that afterwards. So we'll finish the presentation on a high note with Haris later on. So for now, I'll invite financial overview. I'm putting a lot of pressure on you, Haris. I hear you got videos and all stuff.
Okay, thank you, everyone. For most of you, you would have seen quite a number of the financial slides either at the analyst briefings or previously, but these are updated slides. If I can, then just move to the first slide. This is really a snapshot on our operational statistics, and I'm just going to concentrate on a few key points. The first is really, if you look at our total oil palm planted area, we've got about 607,000 planted. And what's interesting is the mature hectareage is about 496,000, which really goes on to show that about 18% of our area, planted area, remains immature. They are young. And this is like above the industry standard because for all of you who know oil palm, you will know that on average, replanting is at a rate of 4% per year. So where Sime Darby Plantation is concerned, there has been accelerated replanting. In the last few years, we've said that we've accelerated replanting in Indonesia at a rate of approximately 7% for 3 consecutive years. Now it's tapered down to above 5% still, but it's tapered down given the average profile is a lot more manageable. So which then takes me nicely to the little diagrams of the age profile. Some of you will remember that prior to the listing, when we did our road shows, the average age profile was approximately almost 14 years. In a short, really 1.5 years, this profile now is looking a lot more encouraging at about 12.3 years. We will, in the next couple of years, bring this down to 12 years. Why is this important? Largely because the maturity profile, if you look at it, especially in Indonesia, reflects an aging profile. And again, some of you will remember that we've spoken about why that is the case. Largely, it was an acquired plantation and with a profile that was almost synonymously, systematically the same age profile. And hence, accelerated replanting in Indonesia. Shariman has already gone on to say the replanting that's been done obviously has been done with a lot more enhanced material, and hence, the anticipation that the yields there would increase over time. The one thing that I also would like to highlight in this slide, if you look at the FFB yield and OER, the numbers that you see have been calendarized for your convenience, largely because Sime Darby Plantation has changed its financial year end from June to March, and giving you a statutory number may not be reflective for easy comparison. So these numbers reflect a calendarized period from January to December 2018, and this will be the base that we would use moving forward for easy comparison. So yields, again, we closed the group at about 20.9 tons, and with Indonesia showing encouraging yields at 18.1 for the calendar year, as a result of certain areas becoming newly mature as far as the replanting activities were concerned. Again, this is an up from the 15 and 16 pluses that we have done in the last couple of years. All right. Moving on to the next slide on financials, which is, I forget that I have to manage this myself, all right, which is basically the financial matrix. I won't dwell too much on revenue and PBIT, largely because that has been a function of CPO price. But instead, I would like to concentrate on a slide that I will show you later, which is really the reconciliation, segregating price and every other activity that we do. Okay, so I will move quickly. These are basically statutory numbers. And the last line that you see January to December is a manually updated number to reflect the calendar year. Okay, as far as capital and debt snapshot is concerned, again, you'll find there's a slight increase in inventory days. Again, this is inventories reflective of our entire value chain, which means CPO right up to products sitting in Unimills. And we have to take into consideration that logistics takes time as well. So no real change as far as that is concerned. Okay, this is a snapshot of the financial period for December, where the upstream business, the PBIT numbers, as far as the upstream business is concerned, this is what they closed at. We have really announced the results in relation to this, so I will not really spend time. So this is really where I would like to explain this further, this slide further. What we did was we tried to do a bridge to compare our results for the December 2017 financial period and where we landed as far as PBT is concerned at the end of December 2018. So this is basically comparing our 6 months versus 6 months. And if you look at every pillar from the recurring PBT, all operational pillars have really shown improvement, whether it's yield, whether it's cost, as well as OER, with interest being the component that has increased, and this is really a function of increased borrowings. And the gray bar that you see that shows 1450 merely goes on to indicate that operational statistical performance of Sime Darby Plantation has indeed improved. But given prices where they were, commodity prices experienced, that had a significantly negative impact to our numbers. And that's why we've largely closed at about 457 million PBT for the half year ended 31st December 2018, vis-a-vis the previous period. The next slide really is a patami in the same manner, so I won't spend too much time for that. Okay, this is the other thing that really drives our business. These are the levers: your price, yield, OER, and the cost to customer. Largely, as far as yield, OER, and cost to customer is concerned, they are more controllable than prices, which is really dictated by commodity prices. And the sensitivities to our numbers are really what is dictated there. For every 100 ringgit change in price, the impact to the group, annualized impact to the group, is approximately 250 million. Similarly, for yield and OER, the numbers are dictated there. And before you ask me what is the pricing that we used in modeling this, it was a price of 2,300 ringgit Malaysia price. So that's the impact to the group. Okay, these are the borrowings and gearing ratio. Our gross gearing did increase in the last 6 months. It's approximately 46% from the 40% that we closed at as at 30th June 2018. Reasons for this were largely driven by really low commodity prices that resulted in working capital drawdowns, as well as the investment in Markham Valley. So again, the anticipation is this should be on reducing balance, given that on a routine recurring basis, we expect this gearing to continue to reduce. Next slide is largely where our ratings currently sit. It's no change really from December 2018. My last slide really talks about dividends. Dividend policy remains constant. We will continue to distribute a minimum of 50% of our PATAMI. This was in our prospectus, and again for the December 2018 financial period, the 51% distribution has already been announced. With that, I will let Haris take the thunder for the next few minutes.
And I have about 15 minutes, I'm told. And so I'm going to take no more than 10 to go through some of the slides and perhaps share with you our corporate video. But let me start by telling you a story. About 2 years ago, Dr. Sharman and I went to the US. We were trying to scout for new customers, trying to sell palm oil to the US market. And we landed in Dallas, of all places. And so it happened that one of the key FMCG is actually based in Dallas. And so Sharman, myself, and Andy, who runs our European business, sat down with the buyer and we gave our cards. And we say, we are from Darby Plantation. And immediately, what transpired over the next 3 to 4 minutes was about us explaining who Darby Plantation was. So we started with 1 million hectares of land, 660,000 of that's planted, the biggest producer of sustainable palm oil, so on and so forth. 10 minutes into the conversation, we explained nothing about why we were here. We talk about us being a plantation company. In Malaysia, or in Asia, everybody knows Darby Plantation. You go to Dallas and you talk about plantation company, they thought we were selling bananas. And that's where the coin dropped. That if you really want to push products, going with the name plantation is the misnomer. Right? It just does not fit what we are doing. Because what I do is I process palm oil alongside coconut oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil, and so forth. And this is all tied in, hopefully, this story, right? And then we came back and said, hang on a sec, guys, if we're going to go and keep saying this plantation story to people in the US, in Latin America, they're not going to get it. Right? We're going to spend 10 minutes talking about who we are back home and about why we're here in front of them. Downstream business is an amalgamation of different assets, and this all happened because the three companies merged, and then we had this 11 refineries in different parts of the world doing its own thing. Now, if we aspire to move our contribution from plantation from mere 15%, 10% to 20% and more, we need to find a reason for being. And our reason for being is to be the best oils and fats manufacturer with palm as our key ingredient to the world. And then we realized we have no single culture. Right? And I, before joining Sime, I was with Unilever, and before that I was with Nestle. If I go to a Unilever factory in Timbuktu versus in Sudan or in Iran, I know I am in a Unilever factory. The culture is the same, ways of working are the same, and so forth. I can't say that about my downstream organization today. So we have to start with that. And hence the creation of a company called Sime Darby Oils. Sime Darby Oils is not a standalone organization. We are a wholly owned subsidiary of Darby Plantation with a task of trying to build our contribution to the company to a much bigger number than where it is today. How do I do this? Green. Okay. These are all words, guys. It's about our vision and mission and tagline. But it says one thing about being the best producer of oils and fats to our customers, focusing on quality, sustainability, innovation, and integration. Sustainability and integration are the two main things which we think we are different versus others. Quality and innovation, everybody claims they are quality-driven and innovation-minded. Sharman talked about open palm. Sharman talked about integration. These are the two things which we believe we are quite distinct. And what we mean by that is integration is the fact that we produce the oil, we process it at the mill, we bring them to our refineries, and we churn out products, good quality products to our customers. It is also sustainable. And not only that we are certified, we're able to trace where this palm oil comes from, right to the mill and to the plantation. And not only that, this open palm system that Sharman talked about, the phase 2 of it will be able to tell our buyers what are the potential issues that could happen in that particular area around deforestation, around community rights, peat, and so forth. So we are going one level down to take all these issues up front to our customers. We call it a new dawn in downstream. It's about trying to realign ourselves around four distinct segments, or four distinct geographies. Asia Pacific, differentiated EMEA, which stands for Europe, Middle East and Africa. Oceania, which is essentially our businesses in Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands, as well as trading. And each of these, we have a head who actually runs all of this organization, and it's all about driving agility, accountability, and a bias for action, because we have this feeling in downstream that we have all these ideas, right? But we are not agile enough to actually execute these ideas. But with these four different geographies, we'll hope to be able to achieve our target of doubling our profitability in the year 2023. I'll talk a bit about our refineries, 11 refineries in in Europe, Africa, and Asia. Capacity about 3.8 million tons of refining, small biodiesel capacity, some oleochemical capacities, and so forth. The footprint is there, but it is about giving our customers a distinctive offering. And this is where we actually write a lot on the fact that we are the largest producer of sustainable palm oil, and we already have in our chest a host of customers that buy from us, and these are the names that you're familiar with: PepsiCo, Mondelez, Kellogg's, Mars, and so forth. Kellogg's has the biggest Pringles manufacturing hub in Asia. It is here in Malaysia. It's in Sepang, actually. And we are the exclusive supplier of palm oil used for frying chips. So if you go to India, China, New Zealand, Australia, Japan, and you buy a packet of Pringles, or a bottle of Pringles, or a tube of Pringles, that Pringle is made with some W oil. And the same thing if you go buy Milo, or if you go to KFC and you eat your KFC chicken, all of that is made with some W oil. And not only that, we are the only supplier. We are the sole supplier, and if you talk about supply chain risk, we should bet your risk on a single supplier. These guys do, right? We are the only supplier to Kellogg's here in Asia, which covers the entire Asian region. We are the only supplier to Nestle for their Milo manufacturing in this region. And we're also the only supplier to KFC for Malaysia, Indonesia, and potentially Greater Mekong sub-region. That tells a lot about our ability, or the trust that our customers have on Darby Plantation. So we're quite excited about the fact that we've been able to prove our reason for being, and now it's about doubling our profitability, and we put a stake on the ground about 3 years ago that the way forward for downstream is to double our profits. And this will come through both a combination of organics, inorganic, as well as merger and acquisition. Now, we are supported by what we call the innovation centers in 3 areas, or 3 locations. The biggest is, of course, in Malaysia. We have a couple of that, one in Johor and the other one in Carey Island. We have one in Netherlands, in Rotterdam, and we have one in Johannesburg, in South Africa. And these innovation centers actually work along these segments: bakery, frying, confectionery, health ingredients, and specialty ingredients, supported by what we call a fully segregated and traceable refineries. In other words, if you go and buy products from our refineries in Unimills, that traceability that we give to our customers means that they know where this palm oil actually originates from, whether it's from Indonesia or from Malaysia, and if it's from Indonesia, which mills and ultimately which state. And the same thing is done in our refineries in Malaysia, as well as in UK, which is in Liverpool. So the branding of Darby oils is about being closer to our customers, serving them better, giving them a sense of nourishment, of quality and innovative products, and perhaps most importantly, being the trusted and reliable partner. And this point, the last point, is critical because this is what allows us to become the sole supplier to many of these FMCGs. I'll talk a bit about the segments. So as we grow and double up our profitability, hopefully, we'll be focusing on these 5 segments: frying, bakery, confectionery, health, and specialty ingredients. So you say frying. So what is frying? We all go home and we cook, right? So we use olive, hopefully, which is our frying oil. Now, let me tell you this. The olive that you buy is of inferior quality compared to the oil that we sell to Nestle. Now, olive is pretty good already. It's probably the best frying oil you can find off the shelf. But the oil that we sell to the Nestles, the Unilevers, and Kellogg's of this world are of far superior quality, and even to KFC. And this is what we call premium quality oil, that we produce in Malaysia and potentially in Indonesia soon. This is the oil that can fry multiple times over. And for them, it's cost savings, right? And that is the distinctive offering that we have under the frying segment. Bakery confectionery is about texturizing fats, and we believe we have the leading technology in texturization. Confectionery is about trying to replicate cocoa butter or to replace cocoa butter from chocolates, and we also have technologies to do that. But it's all about trying to build on the platforms that we already have and increase our presence to new markets around the world. Some of our presence already, Malaysia, Europe, South Africa, and these are some of the products that we have. These are the brands, these are the customers, and these are the end products. I mentioned about KFC, KitKat. If you buy KitKat here, it's also made with Sime Darby oil. We supply a lot of biodiesel to Petronas as well as to Shell. And of course, last but not least, biscuits. Pladis is one of the world's biggest biscuits manufacturer today, and we supply them oil, brands like McVitie's. Some of you may know this if you live in the UK, and so forth. So in other words, we are the brand behind the brand. And while we may not be present, you don't see our names on the shelf. There is this products that we supply to them, which is oil or fats that goes to help them manufacture their products. And of course, we have more than, supplying to more than 100 countries, be it what we call bulk products, which is your commodities products, or differentiated. But the key here is for us to supply more differentiated products, because this is where the margin that we generate is consistent. And therefore, what we want to provide is more consistency in terms of our financial performance. So hopefully that gave you a bit of a glimpse to who we are as Sime Darby Oils and where we want to go. But let me sort of end with a corporate video. This was done recently when we launched the Sime Darby Oils brand. And have a look at it, and I hope you'll enjoy it.
Every day, people everywhere wake up to a world we are a part of. We touch their lives unnoticed in ways that are unseen and, frankly, routine. Together with the companies we work with, we beautify, nurture, nourish, and fuel their world. Because we are committed to a better quality of life for all, even as we remain a silent contributor to that goal. Who are we? We are Sime Darby Oils. While our name may be new to you, we've been producing a wide variety of edible and non-edible oils and fats for decades. As part of Sime Darby Plantation, the world's biggest producer of certified sustainable palm oil, Sime Darby Oils has its own extensive global network with facilities in 8 countries. In fact, we have long been a sustainability advocate committed to conserving the rainforests, protecting biodiversity, along with the native community's right to land. These efforts ensure our customers have access to traceable, segregated, certified palm oil. No matter what our customers require, edible and non-edible oils and fats, oleochemicals, biodiesel, or other non-palm derivatives, we can produce solutions customized to their specific needs and achieve the nutritional advantages and superior performance of better quality oils. But it's not just our products that set us apart. It is also Sime Darby Oil's delivery of personalized services. We offer consultation and planning with technical support and logistics management from start to finish, anywhere in the world. Our reputation for the highest standards and operational excellence is unrivaled. Supported by expertise and R&D innovations, we have an ongoing commitment to new product development. Most recently, we've introduced a new superior quality monogastric animal feed made from palm kernel expeller, a first in the market. Our eyes are also on a green and robust future, and throughout the entire Sime Darby Oils organization, our people are passionate about delivering a full and sustainable life for the world. Because we all live in the same world and have our own hopes and dreams for today and long past tomorrow.